What's going on, everybody? My name is Kirby Kwan Jr. and welcome to the very first video of 2019.
Come again, this is Kirby Kwan Jr. Let's go.
Today I will be answering two of the most asked questions that I got from 2018. One of them is, Kirby, you always wear a hat. Do you actually have hair? And the answer to that is, indeed I do. $10 haircuts. And that's after I tip. The second most asked question I get from friends, family members, and strangers through DMs and stuff is, what camera gear do you use? Well, today I'm going to be answering that question by letting you know, the fuck do I have in this giant ass backpack over here? So let's get started. The first thing I will be talking about is something that I can't even show you because I'm actually using it right now. It will be my main camera that I use for all my YouTube videos, and that is the Canon EOS Rebel SL2, also known as the 200D and KISS X9. I'll try to make this as quick and easy as possible. So basically the SL2 is a DSLR camera, so I have full manual controls. I can interchange different lenses, add a microphone on top. It has a flip out LCD screen, so I can actually monitor myself right now, and it's basically the best entry-level camera in my opinion that you get right now on the market, and it's perfect for vlogging as well. I use it for vlogging as well, which is why I say it's perfect for vlogging as well. Yeah. So last year with this camera I shot all of the short films, or almost all the short films with it. I shot everything after Finesse. So I shot George V with this, I shot all the Assassin's Creed videos with this, I shot Back to School A Whole New Meaning with this, and I also shot this shit.
What is that? You guys didn't see that?
See what?
There's like a flashing light.
Where?
Somewhere.
What flashing light?
There's like a quick flash. I'm being serious actually.
Are you sure you're not just being hyped?
Is there someone still in the school?
No?
It's probably janitors, but like why would they just flash a light?
Where did you see it from?
Like,
You never seen it before because it was a test footage. So now that you know where the image is coming from, let's very quickly talk about where the sound is coming from. It's also on top of the mic, so I can't show you, but it's the Rode Video Micro. It's Rode's entry-level shotgun mic, and it even comes with its own dead cat wind filter, which is why I got it. It's small, compact, it gets the job done, and it's also really, really cheap. That, and it kind of looks cute. Like, it looks like I have a little Caribou on top of my camera, so yeah. Like I said earlier, this camera has interchangeable lenses that I got for it, such as the one I'm using right now. The one that I'm using right now is the Canon EF 10 to 18mm f4.5 to 5.6 IS STM lens. It's a long ass name, but basically this is my wide angle lens. I use this for stuff like this where I'm talking to myself. I use it for vlogging, and I use it for two other main purposes. One would be what I call drone shots, which aren't actually drone shots. I basically mount it onto a Steadicam and I run, and it looks like it's like a drone because it looks like a floating camera. And the other reason why I use it is for vlogging. As you can see, there's a whole lot in the frame right now. And in fact, this is how I frame my videos. I make sure that my fingertips can touch the ends of the screen, and I just step back until my arms are fully extended. That's why I use this, and also I can do stuff like this. I used to do those zooms digitally in post, but of course I sacrifice image quality. I can do that manually now. The only main drawback with this thing I find is that f4.5 is really kind of on the slower end, so I could really only use this in daylight. For low light I could still use it, but I just have to crank up that ISO, and then there's a whole lot of like noise in the photo or image. In other words, digital grain basically. And you know, it's fine for vlogs because, you know, it's more about the journey or the story, but for actual filmmaking I only use it for those purposes that I mentioned earlier. So basically for filmmaking I use it only for first-person view as well as drone shots or floating camera shots. On to the next lens. The next lens I want to talk about is this cute little thing that I got in my hand. This is the Canon EF 24mm STM lens. It has a max aperture of f2.8, which isn't like beastly fast, but it's still good enough for indoor shooting in some low light conditions. It has the STM motor, so it has silent autofocusing if you choose to use autofocus, and it's a nice decent focal length of 24mm. You could get some background blur. It won't be super in your face, but it will be a little bit more subtle background blur. You get a little bit more bokeh options, and yeah, it's just a nice step up for, you know, from this lens or even the kit lens. So that's why I got this. It's nice, it's simple, it's compact, decently built. You even get the metal lens mounts that some of these plastic ones don't have, such as the one I'm using right now with the 10-18. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what I could do with this because I actually have not used this yet. Now I know this is gonna look similar, but I also got this here. This is the Canon EF 50mm f1.8 STM lens. This is their entry-level full frame lens that they offer. It's 50mm, which is a nice standard focal length, and it has a max aperture of f1.8, so you can shoot in low light conditions with this if you must. And of course, you can get crazy background blur, especially if you use this on a full frame camera. I unfortunately only have APS-C sensor cameras. I pretty much shot the George Va video almost entirely using this lens, and I was able to fake a sunset as a sunrise and got away with it pretty much. The only thing I don't like about this is I got the second hand and the rear element cap is kind of loose, but it does also have a metal lens mount and still has the STM motor, so you know, near silent autofocus. You got some nice background blur and bokeh, and yeah, it's the nifty 50. You can't ever go wrong with this. So the last lens that I'm actually going to show you is actually the first lens that I ever had. It is the kit lens, the one that came with the camera. And I still hold on to this because basically in my mind, I think if there's anything that happened to any of the previously mentioned lenses, I got it covered with this. It will not perform in the specific regions as well as the other two, or the other three, excuse me, but it's still a good lens. The image quality isn't as great as the two primes that I use, but it's still, again, it gets the job done. If I needed to carry just one lens with me for like a random occasion, I will probably choose this because it could do a little bit of everything, just not well, like me. I also got this guy in my camera bag. Now this is not to be confused with the one that I'm using right now. This is the SL1. The SL1 is basically like an SL2, just missing a few features. For example, it doesn't have the 60 frames per second, the screen is fixed on the back, and it also does not have that beastly dual pixel autofocus. The autofocus on this camera is still decent. It uses the hybrid autofocus system, which is, again, decent. Nothing great, but still very usable. And the other thing that I really hate about this camera, or two things that I really hate about this camera, is the grip is really shallow, so it's really uncomfortable for my hands, handheld. I pretty much never use this for video handheld. I always have to have some kind of apparatus on it, like I usually put this on a Gorillpod, because Jesus Christ, this thing actually gave me cramps one time. But yeah, this is basically the backup camera. It still works with all the lenses and even the mic that I got for this particular setup that I'm using right now. So, you know, this is the backup camera. It also works great for getting a second angle, like for interviews. But regardless of whatever camera you have, you can never have enough power for them. So these right here are the chargers for the camera batteries. These are actually the spare camera batteries I have loaded onto these chargers. The regular ones, or I guess the first ones, are in the actual cameras themselves. So on the SL1, it would have the one that's labeled number 1, and then the one inside of this will be labeled number 1 as well. You can never have too much batteries, in my opinion. And much like battery life, you can't ever have too much storage either. So inside of this particular camera, I have a 64GB memory card, and then in the SL1, I have a 32GB, and then I also have a 16 and an 8. I don't know why they keep on getting halved, but whatever. I'm probably gonna get more memory cards. But after I'm done with all 4 of these, what do? I put it in one of these. So this is a 2TB hard drive by Seagate. This is their Backup Plus Slim series, so it's not huge. And 2TB should last me, you know, the entire 2019 as I have it labeled. I hope at least. For 2018, I believed I had 1.5 terabytes, and that just barely pulled enough space. So hopefully, it will last me enough for 2019. But how do I transfer the files from the SD card onto the hard drive? Well, I'm probably going to need an SD card slot. But if I don't have one, I'm going to need one of these. So what I have in my hand is the Anker USB 3.0 SD card reader. This reads both full-size SDs as well as micro SD cards, and well, it's pretty self-explanatory. You shove this into your computer, you shove the card into this, and you're good to go. Now obviously I can't show you my computer because it's in a different room, but that's what I use to edit my videos on. Unless I'm on the go, then I have to do it on this.
As you can see here.
This is my laptop. This is the Acer Aspire 5, and this particular unit has, if memory serves, a Core i5 processor, the 8th gen Core i5 processor, so it will be decent, and 8 gigs of RAM, a 1 terabyte hard drive built in. So this should be decent. Nothing amazing, nothing, you know, tremendously powerful, but it's gonna be good for everything I need it to do, which is going to be editing and taking notes. So what more can you ask for? But the speakers on that laptop is pretty much gonna be ass, so I would recommend you get a pair of headphones to go with it. And for traveling purposes, these are gonna be the choice. These are the Urbanears Plattan Plus from quite a while ago, to be honest. Now this isn't like the best choice. I mean, there are some nice features. For one, it folds into a really small package. For two, it has built-in cable management, so I don't really need to worry about that. The cable itself is really nice. It has the fabric wrapped cable or fabric cord, so it's nice. It's gonna be, you know, durable, and they have clearly withstood this test of time. The sound quality is probably the weakest part of this, because the thing I love about these is they're fairly comfortable, they're really lightweight, so they have really good noise isolation, and at the same time they have next to no noise leakage. But it would be nice if I got something better. So maybe if I remember to save up, I'm gonna get myself an actual better pair of headphones to go with this, like probably something along the lines of a pair of Audio-Technica ATH M40Xs. That's gonna be my New Year's resolution. And of course, you can't edit without a mouse, which is why I currently can't edit with that, because I lost it, so I need to get a replacement. But I bet you motherfuckers forgot about mounts and rigs, huh? Usually I carry this with me just strapped onto the side of my backpack. This is my travel tripod of choice. This is the Optex Black 5-section inverting travel tripod. And the reason why I like this so much is because I got it for only 30 bucks. This thing retails for, I believe, in Canada, $180, I think, and I got this for $25 and then shipping fees, so about 30 bucks. For 30 bucks, I love this thing. It's beautiful. The other thing I need to mention about this is it's fairly modular. Like, basically, if you remove the center column, that's really the thing that you could fuck around with. The legs are pretty much stationary. I removed a handle strap that it came with. I also removed the ball head, and I swapped it for one of these. This is just simply a fluid pan tilt head that I ripped off from the tripod I'm using now, actually. So this is from the Platinum series tripod that you can find at Best Buy, and I can't even lie, like for a budget setup, this is it right here. This works beautifully. But you might be wondering, what did I do with that ball head? Well, I put it onto my Gorillpod, and then I broke that Gorillpod, so I need to get a new Gorillpod. Also, a quick pro tip, I recommend everyone gets a system for their actual plates. And what I mean by this is all of my plates are Anker Swiss compatible, so I could put this onto that tripod, I could put this onto the Gorillpod if it wasn't broken, and I could put this on pretty much anything. The only thing that I have that isn't Anker Swiss compatible is my Steadicam. My Steadicam has its own proprietary plate, but I always have it pre-balanced anyways. So yeah, just a quick tip out there. Now, another essential that I cannot stress enough is everyone needs one of these. Now, this is in the package, but this is a microfiber lens cloth. And the reason why I recommend everyone gets one of these rags, or whatever you want to call them, is because keep that shit clean. Like, keep your screens clean, keep the lenses clean. Everything that needs to be clean. So, keep it clean. Now, something that you might have noticed so far is that pretty much everything that I've shown you has been labeled. So I actually do carry a pack of these labels with me, and I also carry both a pen as well as a marker so that I can label everything I need to. This is the gray card, and I use this to get good white balance for an image like this. You know, if I use just the presets, it might be too blue or too red or too green or whatever. If I use this, snap a photo, and then, you know, go into the settings and play around with it for like 2 seconds, I get a really nice image like this. I'm actually going to completely ungrade the image, and this is what it looks like ungraded. Now, I do need to tell you guys though that I do have Technicolor installed into my camera, so it's a really flat picture profile. But the colors should at least look natural. But yeah, that's pretty much what I carry with me in my camera backpack. So why don't I show you the camera backpack itself. This is it right here. Look at this behemoth. This thing is huge. It also just gave me a lisp for some reason. Fuck. This is the BAGSMART large DSLR Look, they don't make a name for this, but if you go on Amazon, just type. So I don't actually know what this thing is called because they don't have a name for this. But if you go on Amazon, just search like BAGSMART large DSLR camera backpack 15.6-inch laptop, and something like this should pop up. They make this in two different styles. So make one like this, and then they make one that's a little bit different in terms of the aesthetics, but they all function the same. They have the same layouts and everything. The only difference is the laptop straps over here are going to be on this side. But yeah, it's a nice laptop. It's not waterproof, it's water resistant, but it does also have stored underneath here a rain cover that you could use. So you know, you can waterproof it. It's one of these rear loading backpacks, so if you can see, there actually are no zippers in the front that you can access easily. I mean, there is the one over here, but you still need to undo these things, and most of the things are going to be stored on the back here. If I just flip these straps, and now it looks tiny because it's a wide angle lens, but trust me, this thing is huge. If I open up the straps, everything is going to be stored in here. So let's get packing, motherfuckers. All right, let's dig into this shit. So yeah, that's what's in this beastly camera bag. I am missing a few things. Few things need to be replaced. Like I lost my mouse, I need to replace that. And I also lost my Gorillpod, but that's what's in my camera bag.